the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
All right, we're back here on the Chase Thomas Podcast, where I'm now joined by a first-timer. Heath Shuler is here. He wore number 21 at Tennessee not too long ago. The Shuler number 21 at Tennessee is also very recent, with Navy rocking 21 the last couple of years as well. Heath Shuler, former Tennessee Vols quarterback, former NFL quarterback. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, doing great, Chase. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for being here. So I have to start out of the gate here because I have a lot of family that went to UT and were big fans of yours back in the day. And when I told them that I was going to be talking with you this week, they immediately wanted to know how you think you would have been in Josh Heupel's offense. Because I have a certain uncle who's just like, I really, really wish I could have seen Heath in this scheme. And the other one is you versus Conrad Holloway. Like, who would actually end up putting bigger numbers playing under Heupel at Tennessee?
Well, I'll leave that to the other folks. I'm a big fan of Conrad Holloway, and during my freshman year, Conrad and I spent an incredible amount of time together. We would sneak into the indoor facility when everyone else was gone at night, and he would work me out. And so we would go through drills and quicker release. He was really helped me out my freshman year, because obviously during the season, as a freshman playing, the starter's a 5-year senior, Andy Kelly. I mean, I got a little playing time. I probably played more snaps at wide receiver and tailback that year than I did at quarterback. But it was having Condors help me through, just trying to go from a high school level to the collegiate level and getting some of that extra coaching late in the evening when everyone else had gone home. We'd sneak in. I learned so much from him, and I owe a great deal to Conrad Holloway. I'm a big fan of his.
Isn't it kind of interesting sometimes? Because one of the things I've always thought was interesting about your career and your success is, I think when people talk about he was ahead of his time and Heath would have just flourished. And I'm like, well, he did flourish in his time. It's one of those things where I'm like, I mean, he's a first round NFL draft pick. He was really good at Tennessee. So in some ways, I understand that people wanted to see you, and we're just with where offenses have gone and the RPO scheme and just how spread out and tempo based so many things are. But isn't there part of you that's like, well, I mean, I was pretty good in this game, and it was actually pretty good because I was different than the other quarterbacks at the time,
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of look back to the 92 season, we were a different style than we were in 93. Mm-hmm. So 92 was my first year. I had a few snaps, and it was quite different than it is now. Somebody can redshirt today, or they can redshirt. I mean, after one snap, and when I played, you lost your redshirt, and so coach put me right in the first game we played against Louisville. I got to throw a hitch route, and that was great. But played a little bit, played tailback a couple of plays, threw the ball out of tailback position, played wide receiver. Got in two or three snaps at Notre Dame when we played, and it was supposed to be a double. It was kind of a double pass. Never worked out for us. They never ran the right defense. So it was great. I mean, I really enjoyed it. But this offense is, in 92 we get inside the red zone and we ran the option. And it was really hard for teams to be able to. They weren't accustomed to Tennessee running the option, but we would run the option, and I had incredible tailbacks. Aaron Hayden, Little Man Stewart at that time, and they just could not have been better tailbacks. And so we're very balanced during that year. Then the 93 year was probably offensively. I guess in 92 I had 13 rushing touchdowns, 11 in the regular season. I had 2 in the bowl game, and so that was the record. And I think for sure I had. The record was held by Jimmy Streeter prior to that. And obviously Jimmy Streeter and I grew up, our hometowns were right beside one another. He grew up in Silva. I grew up in Bryson City, North Carolina. So Jimmy Streeter was always a hometown hero for so many people, and just an incredible athlete. And later in life, become a very close friend of mine. And unfortunately, we lost Jimmy a few years back. And but then in 93, we kind of spread it out, and we still ran the option when we needed to, but we were able to spread the offense out. But yeah, running the RPOs would have been incredible. I love to run. I'd probably rather run the ball than throw it.
And that's what's interesting too, because so many, like with Hendon was such a natural runner too, but you had to like tell him, hey, you got to get down. You got to, because he was not afraid of contact. I mean, early on with the Lions, where he just lowers his shoulder, and certain guys are more apt to contact than others. Was that something that coaches had to pull you aside, like, Heath? We know that you're not afraid of contact, but we need you upright here for the full season.
Yeah, occasionally. I mean, you kind of knew, and you just tried to. I mean, it was a different style of ball back there.
Yeah.
Time. I mean, sliding was, you could get out of bounds was, the coach would say get out of bounds, but kind of that open field. I don't ever remember them ever telling me to slide.
Really?
I don't ever. I mean, it was just, you get in the secondary, and I was bigger than most of the secondary guys, so I felt like I was bigger and stronger than they were. I'd run over them. It happened a couple of times in NFL, and they thought I'd run out of bounds, and I'd lower my shoulder and run over top of those guys too. But I got in the NFL, and then they told me to never run the ball, which was, taking half my game away from me.
Is that when you think about just the throwing and seeing yourself more as a running back or more of a runner than a thrower? I mean, do you still is there one throw in particular that you are most proud of or during your Tennessee time?
Yeah, probably the 4th down and 16 against Georgia between the hedges in 92.
Yeah.
That would probably be it. I mean, it was kind of one of those that, you had to make the first down. If not, we lose the game. They were number 2 or number 3 ranked team in the country at that point in time. They had a really great quarterback, really great offense, some really good guys on defense as well. And, we went and, when no one gave us a chance to win. And Coach Fulmer, I think that was his first debut as the interim head coach when Coach Majors had a heart attack and had undergone some surgery. And so he was out. And so Philip stepped in and really, put our team in a situation for us to be successful.
What is the most common question you've gotten from Tennessee fans over the last 30 years? The number one question you've gotten from them over the last 30 years is what?
Probably the favorite game. What's your favorite game?
Do you have an answer for that, or does it change over the years?
Probably there's a couple of games. I mean, I think it kind of 3 games that really, in my first year as a starter, the Georgia game, between the hedges, the Florida game, when we played them at home in the monsoon, the downpour, and in that bowl game, where, I completed like 80% of my passes and had 3 running and 2 rushing. I can't remember exactly. So, I mean, it was a fun game playing. At that time, it was called the Hall of Fame Bowl down in Tampa, Florida. Now it's Outback, and then I think it's changed its name all over again. So,
yeah. So
anyway, but that was probably those years. And then, the next year, kind of the one that I remember the most is some of the heartbreak games, going to Alabama, playing Alabama, and, they go for a 2-point conversion to Tice, and they get the 2-point conversion to Tice. That was just a heartbreaking game. I mean, that was tough. The Florida game that same year was tough, threw 5 touchdown passes against Florida, and we still lose the game. That was just a heartbreaker. So sometimes I remember the ones that, that are my favorites, but, I also remember the ones that I wish we'd have been able to pull it out.
Was there ever a part of you that thought about, hey, maybe I want to be a college football coach down the road?
No. I mean, I helped out a little bit. They had a Arena 3 team here in Knoxville, so I got a little bit about the coaching at that point in time. And then when, when Navy decided that he wanted to play football, and, I decided to start coaching. So started doing that. And I coached him all the way up till he got to college. And so it was fun. I mean, I probably put far too more on him than any quarterback should have been taking, but I let him set protections in high school. I let him, call the running back routes during the middle of a play. And so it was just good. So it really prepared him for, playing at the next level.
When you think back to your NFL and your Tennessee career, when you remember like reading and what people talked about, like your game as a player, what did you always think? Y'all are really missing this part of my game that I think is pretty good.
Oh, I don't know. I can't really recall something I would say that people was missing. I mean, I think what I wanted people to see was like, toughest guy on the field. You know, I mean, it didn't matter. You know, I mean, when I got my injury and that put me out of the game, for good. I mean, I dislocated all 5 of my toes at the same time, and got to the sidelines. They put them back in place.
One at a time.
Oh yeah.
Like they just didn't wait. They were just
all 5 of my toes are on top of my foot.
Oh my goodness.
And so I went to the sidelines and told them to fix it. And I only felt a burning sensation. I'd torn my plantar fascia in 2. I'd destroyed the sesamoid bones in the foot. But I mean, it didn't really hurt. I guess adrenaline, and I felt like I could go out and play. So they taped it up, and the play that I got injured was 3rd down. We were just short of the sticks. And so the next series, I only missed the first play of the next series. And then I finished the entire game. We were playing in Oakland. I got tackled at second base.
Yeah.
On the infield, the A's were still at the time. So I got tackled right at second base, and it was just the ground. It was the dirt infield. And so my foot had no place to go but dislocate. And so,
goodness gracious.
And so, I always felt like that was it. And, my teammates thought I was the craziest person in the world. And, I'd hobble out on the field, and we won the game. And the next week I didn't go to practice. I mean, I practiced, but I only watched. And then I went to the game on crutches and shot my left foot up so much that I could play. And then Ditka took my helmet away from me the second half, and I never played again. So, that was the thing that I always felt like I had gotten injured in Washington, and Gus Frerotte was playing really well at the time. So I really not got a chance to come back in, and kind of felt like I'd redeemed myself a little bit. But things were going really, much better in New Orleans at that particular time. We had just come off of 2 wins back to back, and then I never played again. So I can at least say the last 2 games of my career, I finished as we won both of them.
One of the things I'm so curious about, because you've heard, I don't know if you saw what Kevin O'Connell said about quarterbacks here over the last week, where it's just, it's not quarterbacks failing franchises, it's franchises failing quarterbacks. Yeah. And you're seeing that a lot right now at the college level, where a lot of blue chip quarterbacks have really struggled out of the gate here this season. You're seeing guys on their second act really thrive, or third act, like a Sam Darnold, who's playing extremely well in Seattle, or Baker Mayfield, who's having an MVP type season in Tampa. It takes time for some guys. Like for a lot of folks, you have to kind of go through some trial and error. I don't know if
it's as much time as it is the system.
Interesting.
Yeah, the system. I mean, I went to Washington, and so even though we weren't a West Coast system in college here, everything that David Cutcliffe and Saunders and all the others that have put together that Tennessee system, is more of a stylish of the West Coast, even though we were some I formation stuff. But, kind of by my junior year, we were a little bit more spread out, one back type system. And then I go to Washington, and I get in the, what's the Don Coryell, the Ernie Zampese, the North Turner offense. And it was an I formation, straight drop back, don't get out of the pocket, don't move the pocket, play action. And when you don't have a running game, play action doesn't work very well. And it was kind of like it was a 1, 2, 3, throw it away. And, you go through your progressions, 1, 2, 3, throw it away. And the David Cutcliffe was always like, hey, 1, 2, 3, get those feet rolling, and that was my whole deal, just go through the progression and be able to utilize. So, and then when I got to New Orleans, I don't know what kind of offense we actually ran. It was the worst offense in the world, but I still this day have no idea exactly what our theme would have been. It's a little mismatch of everything. But then getting a chance to go with John Gruden for about 4 or 5 months could not have been better. I learned more about football and offenses in the 4 or 5 months I was with John Gruden than I'd learned my entire career. And that's taking nothing away from the other coaches. It was the amount of time that I spent with him. At that time, Wade Wilson was there, and Rich Gannon was a starting quarterback. So I was going there to play, hopefully to be able to rehab, get out of crutches, hopefully be able to make it back. And ultimately didn't, but I learned so much about the game. And I realized pretty quickly that the West Coast system would have been exactly the system that I wish I would have gone to from day one. That would have been the perfect place, perfect situation.
So for you, it's less about age and experience and just kind of the up and downs. It's just more like it's the scheme. Yeah.
Yeah, they help. I mean, the more you're around it and you understand, because there is a large jump from that NFL or college to the NFL. But, the system plays a lot to do with it. I mean, especially from probably a quarterback more than any other position.
Did you have a welcome to the NFL moment that stands out the most?
Yeah, I got hit third down on the goal line. We're about to punch it in against the Dallas Cowboys, and they went in nickel formation on defense. And, as a former Tennessee guy, Bill Bates hit me right in the mouth.
Yeah.
It was like the sea parted, and my face mask, I only had one of the buckles on one side buckled, and two on the other, one on the other. I thought that was cool, right? Have one unbuttoned. And that my face mask come back, busted my nose, busted my mouth. And that was kind of one of those aha moments that was a punch. I mean, he hit me hard.
So when you think about Tennessee's season thus far, Joey, obviously your neck of the woods, App State, he's been, and just an awesome story for the Vols. What have you seen from him in particular that has kind of changed? Because as a quarterback, like you've seen the App State years, and now you're seeing how he's thriving in Heupel scheme. Very different stuff from what the late Sean Clark and his staff were running versus what he's doing and thriving and with Heupel. What is flipped and for Joey at this point?
I would have to say, from understanding that what was happening up there, that coaching probably had more to do with it than anything. I think from a coaching standpoint, I think a very challenging and very, very difficult quarterback room in App State. I just don't think that he got what he probably deserved and needed to deserve in that room versus being with Joey Halsley. Listen to the prior quarterbacks, including my own son, about what a challenge that particular room was, and all the quarterbacks that had played there. That was a very challenging quarterback room, and to be able to, to have some freedom and understand, hey, we all make mistakes at quarterback, through Joey Halsley and Coach Heupel. It's just, I think it's really kind of given him an opportunity. Aguilar just to absolutely just play to hit top of his game. I mean, he's got freedom. He feels relaxed. And probably the biggest attribute that he's bringing to this Tennessee team is his leadership qualities. I think the locker room has always been really good at App State. I think he gained a lot from that locker room, a lot of player led, lead by example. That locker room was really good at App State, and I think he was able to bring a lot of that to Tennessee and lead by the example, be the first one there, the last one to leave, do all the extra work that it takes, and hold your team accountable, but do it in a very respectful way. And I think he was taught that at App State, and I think that carried through to what they were able to see here. And I think it was a different change. Just didn't have that type of quality of leadership in the last few years that Aguilar is actually bringing to the table now.
Can I ask you two non-football related questions to wrap up?
Absolutely.
Okay. Western North Carolina, like I said here before we actually jumped on, love Asheville, love Western North Carolina. We go as much as we possibly can. And I'm curious, like I'm a big Black Bear guy. Love seeing the Black Bears out. Do you have a Black Bear story over the years in Western North Carolina that you've seen or encountered? What do you got?
2:00 in the morning.
Yes.
Our dog was barking outside, out of control. And my mom comes into my bedroom. She goes, "There's got to be somebody outside." The dog is just barking. I'm like, "Yeah," I said, "I've heard her. She's been barking for about 30 minutes now." And so my mom said, "Let's go outside." And I said, "You're not going to get Dad." And I was probably only about 11 years old. Mm-hmm. And she said, "No," he said, "it's nothing. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Okay." And so here my mom and I, in the middle of the night, start walking, and we walk around the corner of the house. Mm-hmm. And as we're walking one way, here comes a black bear the other way, and we meet in the corner. I don't know who was more scared, us or that black bear. But all I know is I told my mom later, "I can't believe that you beat me in the house." So I said, well, Mom, that was just my reaction. I just ran. I said, but the bear ran as much as we did. It was scared of us. But yeah, I mean, we would see them a lot.
I love it.
You'd see black bears all the time. I mean, most of the time they were a nuisance. And I definitely saw, living in Bryson City, right near the Great Smoky Mountain National Park was one thing, but living in Biltmore Forest in Asheville,
yeah, there
was nothing to see a bear at least once a week. You'd see a bear once a week in Biltmore Forest, and a lot of them had the collars on them. They'd get too close to the school, and they have Carolina Days there, and or if the bear got too close, they'd, all right, no kids inside, everybody stays inside. So just kind of the way of it. It wasn't, you wouldn't think twice about it. I mean, oh, there's a bear in the yard, don't go outside right now or something like that. And the truth is they were just looking for something to eat.
Because they have crazy memories, right?
They never charged anybody or, stay away from the mama bear and her cubs. But other than that, it was good.
I love it. Final thing here, Heath. I grew up big trains guy. One of my dreams for my wife and I is to do the train through Europe. But one of the things I've had on the bucket list here is I have not done the Bryson City train rides. Like I kind of want to do that during Christmas time. I want to do it. It just has not come up, but my wife is in on it. This is going to be the year, Heath. Sell me on the train situation in Bryson City.
All right, you need to take the train from Bryson City to Nantahala. That's the route that you want to go.
Okay.
Nantahala to Bryson City. You'll go across the trestle. The trestle will be over Fontana Lake. It'll be a beautiful sight. Go in the fall. It's breathtaking. I think they drop you off at Nantahala. Either eat there. If not, you get to go around the Nantahala Outdoor Center. It's remarkable. And you get to see such beautiful sights. You get to see the lake. And you'll get to see kind of rural America too, right? I mean, you'll get to see a lot of the communities that I grew up in. There's so many good people there. I think everyone loves their hometown. I exceptionally love my hometown. That was just the quality of people and the beauty that hometown. And there's so much to do there. It's not just the train. I mean, there's so many outdoor activities. I mean, you can hike, you can fish. I mean, there's, the bike riding is some of the top in the world in that county. So it's always known as some of the top, most outdoor recreational communities in the U.S. So, Bryson City and, Cherokee's just right up the road, 8 miles away. So you can go there and you can see go to the drama and do the Unto These Hills. You can go to the casino. There's so much, there's so much to do in that community. So it's always a lot of fun. I mean, it's, in the little towns, the little shops in the community, and great places to eat. You got great restaurants. One of my favorite restaurants ever in the world was a little drive-in. It was called Neighbors, and it shut down. Just all of a sudden, the guy retired. They retired and decided to not open it back up. It was the best. People would come from all over Western North Carolina to drive to there to go to the little drive-in. It's like a Sonic, right? But it was kind of the old. You press the button, the person comes out and. They bring you your food and put the little trays on your window. I mean, it was the coolest thing ever, and had the best cheeseburgers I've ever eaten in my life. So I don't know if I just got used to that type of cheeseburger, but it was phenomenal. So great place to eat. So you'll have a great time in Bryson City.
I love it. Heath, what can the good folks support you in any way? What do you want to plug here as we wrap up today?
I think the most important thing is, I always think that's, the university has given me everything, my life changed when I came to UT, and I'm very involved in the athletic program, but also very involved in, I got a degree in psychology at UT. So I'm very involved in that, on the advisory board there, but also on the board of the Baker School, so I spend a great deal of my time now at the Baker School, and Dean Marianne Wademaker just does a phenomenal job there, and I'm just very proud of what she and her team have been able to put together. So it's just awesome. I mean, I think the university is, that's I stay focused there. I've got a lot of nonprofits that I'm involved in. The Friends of the Smokies, growing up there, the Boys and Girls Club here has been great. Beyond Borders, Joe Baker out of in Nashville, he our kids went to school together when he lived in Asheville, and Joe and his wife and his family are just some of the greatest people, and they've helped out during the floods, both in North Carolina and in Tennessee. I'm just involved in a lot, the Museum of Appalachia. It's just so awesome to be able to be a part of some of these programs and to make sure that we keep our heritage and traditions alive. But the university is my love.
I love it. Heath Shuler, thank you so much for the time, and we'll have to check back in again soon.
All right, Chase. Enjoy.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.